massage therapist, and last summer I found Cognomovement, and I immediately highlighted in my inbox, and I just knew this was what I was guided to work with, and it's been amazing. I ran across a Cognomovement video while hiking. I basically put maybe 50% effort, 70% effort. My one little thing that I needed to work on was I wanted to make more art sales. I'm an artist. I think within a week I had 4 sales, and one bought 2 paintings. One person bought 2 paintings.
And Bessel van der Kolk said the most important thing in trauma work is to get the body involved. And this is the first modality that I have learned that incorporates all of our principles with trauma work and desensitization and reprocessing, and it incorporates the body. And I haven't had anything work as well as this. It's changed my practice and my personal life. I'm using it for myself, and I recommend it for everybody to give this a try.
I can't even really put into words how it's changed my life. It has changed my relationships with my children. It's changed my relationships with my colleagues. It has helped me to move forward with private aspects of my business.
All of us practitioners start with ourselves. Okay, simple as that. And that's why so many of us are so damn happy.
I've released so much. My life has changed so much. I even get emotional. My relationships, my business, it's a blessing. Thank you.
My relationship with my wife got a lot better. It feels so peaceful. And I love it. Thank you. It's definitely been a blessing.
Did the same video, and this time I'm going to focus on, manifesting just money. And within 2 weeks, apparently, a family friend who I have known since I was 9 years old, she left me a lot of money. She left me $100,000. I absolutely credit it to my session. With all these other things, they did make change, partial change, but then people were still stuck with these deeper layers in the nervous system, and they would go back to that level of trauma. And with Cognomovement, I saw that it could actually shift and actually change for good. And that is what the gap I was looking for to fill.
We have Cognomovement in our lives now, and it makes a huge difference. I'm going to say it can be a lifesaver for people.
Cognomovement chose me. It resonated with me. My intuition says, to do it. And it's been a wonderful, wonderful ride ever since I started doing Cognomovement.
When I came across Cognomovement, it absolutely changed my whole practice and execution of trauma-focused therapy.
I'm so extremely grateful and surprised the gifts and the quality of this program. They are so astounding to me. I just have never come across anything like it. The level of commitment and the level of willingness and the level of presence that I have not even seen in some of the more evolved spiritual communities I've been working with. I have not found that level of clear, true, we're in this together, we're human beings, and we are doing this, we are helping each other. There is such a quality and a level of commitment that has been very surprising, and I resonate with that deeply. Everyone I've worked with has seen the value of this. I would highly recommend Cognomovement to other professionals in my field and in neighboring fields. But it just seems to cover all aspects of everything. And if you want to have change in your life, you can have it. You can have it, is what I've realized. You can have it, providing you want the change, you can have it. Everything's possible. That's what it's taught me. Everything's possible.
Hey everybody, how's it going? I've seen some of you in the chat. Let me see, am I on mute? It looks like we've still got some people coming in, but we're gonna get started because we have a lot for you today. Can everybody see me? Are we good? Let me know in the chat. I'm going to get rid of this annoying dinging for just a minute. Okay, so today is a really special day. We're doing a Cogno Hour, and we haven't done one in a while. We've been super busy doing our events and all kinds of fun talks and interviews and all of that stuff. So we're happy to get back to Cogno Hour. And today we're going to be talking about rewiring your reality. And I'm sure if you've been on our email list for a while, you've probably heard that a lot of times. But this one's going to be a little bit different. And Bill and Liz have some special things to talk to you about and a session that we're going to take you through. And then don't forget to stay till the end because I have a few things to talk to you guys about and some special things going on. So make sure you stay till the end and to hear about that. So without further ado, I would like to introduce you to Bill and Liz, and let's get started.
Woo-hoo! Hey, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Say hi to Bill McKenna. Bill McKenna's in Colorado today. And tell everybody what you're doing there, Bill. You're muted. Why are you in Colorado? In a strange bedroom.
Give me a
Can't
second.
unmute himself, hon.
Give me a second.
I got
it.
Nope, he's muted again.
Hello?
Hello,
Okay.
hello.
All right. Okay. Hey, thank you for letting me talk. Well, gosh, this is so fun that we get to do a Cogno Hour. I love doing these. I'm campaigning to get more of these because it just gives us a chance to meet all of you and to hear what's going on, hear your great stories, your miracles that you're doing yourself, or if it's a practitioner, somebody else that you've helped. But Liz, specifically, what am I doing in a strange person's bedroom? It's a hotel.
Actually, I said a strange bedroom, not a strange person's bedroom. Is there more going on there, Bill?
No, I'm married. No. I can't do that anymore. No. Anyway, I'm here in Colorado because we've been invited back to Gaia again, which is really awesome. And this time, one of Liz's discoveries, which is just blow your mind. I can't wait for this episode to come out because literally a miracle happened, and the miracle was related to these kids that were suffering with autism, and she discovered through the non-focused vision, which you're familiar with Cognomovement. We're all about the focused vision and getting your eyes to move. Well, she discovered a way, a way in is what she calls it. She was praying for a way in to help with one of our therapists who specializes in these children suffering nonverbal, that they find themselves aggressing, anyway, kind of a unsolvable problem. And she did it. Miracle. Like, they were able to fully relax for the first time in their lives, get in their bodies for the first time in their lives, start communicating really communicating for the first time. It's so amazing.
Yeah, but
Anyway,
you
I
have to
can't,
save it for the episode.
I'm hijacking it because I can't, I'm so excited. You know, this is it. Look, you know, you're getting a world, you're getting a vision into my and Liz's world here. We're so excited about the miracles that are happening and the forward movement with Cognomovement. There are literally so many things happening week by week. You need to come to these Cogno hours just so I can spill the beans, because we really want to get it out there. Anyway, Liz, I can't stop talking. Liz,
Hey,
go ahead.
Bill, maybe move just a little closer to your computer. It sounds like your sound isn't really great. People are saying. Just want to say hi to everybody around the world. I know we have Neville. He's in South Africa. Sada says she's from Italy. Ciao, ciao. So that's great. I know we have people from Australia today. First, I want to ask our practitioners who are here. I see you all. Please put your contact information in the chat so people who are here can see where our practitioners are from and if maybe there's a match there for them. If you guys saw us on Gaia, if you came because of Gaia, would you just post Gaia in the chat? Be interesting to know how many of you hear from that since Bill's there. Somebody from San Diego. All right, let's dig into our topic today. Bill started to tell a story about shifting reality with people with autism, and in Cognomovement, we discovered from the very first Cognomovement session that it shifts reality. But do you know why it shifts reality? This is a big question. If you're new, you may have no idea. But I want to ask you this question. Would you also put in the chat, if you're brave enough, you don't have to, if you could change one part of your reality, what would it be? So, you know, is it relationships? Is there a relationship in your life that is the hardest thing? And if you could wave a magic wand, I always say I don't have a magic wand, but I do have a crystal ball. But if you could wave a magic wand and change a piece of your reality, it would be different almost instantly. What would it be? So financial ability to retire, relationships, financial and relationships. Yeah. A debt-free life. So much around finances. It's so scary, isn't it, you guys? When finances aren't good. And right now there's a lot of pressure on our finances. You feel a certain way about it, don't you? Yeah. So what's interesting about shifting reality, what we're really talking about is changing something dramatic in our life, in the way we perceive life, in the way we experience it. Wouldn't you agree that everything that happens in our life is simply one more experience? Like if it's a trauma that you've had, it's an experience. If you're having lack in your life, in anywhere, in love and in money, that's another experience. Some of us have had some amazing experiences, but you may notice that they don't take center stage right now. So, do you know where your problem is located? Like, where does it come from? And what is the number one thing that people get wrong in trying to change something in their life? Do you know? Here's the answer. It is the location of the problem. So what in the heck am I talking about? You're like, the location of my problem is in my bank account. The location of my problem is in that person over there who's giving me a hard time in my life, right? Wrong. I need one of those buttons. Wrong. The location of the problem is number one. And the second part of this problem is when in time it exists. Okay. Are you guys wondering what the hell I'm talking about? All right, let's take number one. The location, or not, that is not the number one. Can't even read my own list here. The number one problem is, what is the location? It's where it comes from. Most people think their problem is in their mind. It's here. You know, we go to therapy for years. It's about how you're thinking about your problem. And most people are trying to, you know, wrangle their mind to think differently about it. If I could only have more motivation, if I could have better boundaries, if I could only stand up for myself more, if I could only have the courage to get out and find a different job or spend less money or get myself out of debt. The big problem here is that this part of your body really is just the first responder. It really is just the place that takes your problems and interprets them. It interprets them. So if that's true, where's it coming from? It's actually coming from the part of your nervous system that exists below the neck. The part of your body that has a sensation about it, right? You ever know those people who no matter what they do, whether they're broke or they're rich, they're the same? It all feels the same to them. I was listening to a person from Shark Tank. Her name is Barbara Corcoran. And she was saying that how her parents, they never had any money. They had 10 kids, but they never worried about money. And one day she was in a multi-million-dollar business, but she was stressed. And her mom called and said, you know, you don't sound right. What's the matter? And she said, oh, you know, having a few problems in business. And her mom said, you're not worried about money, are you? Because that'll change, right? Have you ever known that person who just is easy about it? And for them, money flows back in, right? So not everybody feels the same way about a money problem or a relationship problem. If you consider it a problem, there is a part of your body that is experiencing some kind of pain. It's either emotional, we'll feel in our heart or our chest or our gut. You know, we have those days where your guts are just in turmoil about whatever's happening in your life. Yeah. Type in the chat if you've ever had that experience. That's where it hits me, is just right in the gut, right? Or when that problem in your relationship starts to rise up, you notice your heart starting to beat faster, your throat clenching down. What that is actually your nervous system creating the feeling so that your mind can make a decision on how to get the heck away from that problem. It actually does not turn on your frontal lobes to think it through, to come up with a better idea, to move forward on something positive. It puts you into fight or flight or freeze. Notice if that's for you. Which one of those? Do you tend to run from things? Do you tend to freeze about things? You know, do you tend to curl up and hide about things? Money is a big one for that. People kind of hide. You just don't look at your bank account, right? You just sort of pretend it doesn't exist, except for that it is the lion and the gorilla and the tiger, you know, and probably a gang in your room ready to attack you. That's what it feels like. So that's number one, is the place that the problem exists is in your body. Now, number two is, where in time does it actually exist? This is the thing that most people get really, really wrong, is that they're thinking that their problem exists right now, and it doesn't. I know the question is like, Liz, if it doesn't exist now, why would I be worried about it? Well, the issue is that the nervous system is the great time traveler. Yeah. It takes whatever you're experiencing now. Remember, we said that each thing that happens is an experience, and it comes through our senses, our eyes, our ears, our taste, our smell, our touch, and we feel or react a certain way about it. But why do we do that? Because we've had an experience in the past that taught our nervous system that it's a problem. So those people who just don't worry about money, they just cruise through life, they never experienced that as a trauma. It's okay. No issues at all. Don't like the relationship I'm in? I change it. No issues at all. For them, their nervous system is not traveling to the past to, guess what? Gather information to decide how to feel about it right now, inform us that it is a problemo, and then project it into the future about how much it's going to hurt us then. So it's never now. If you really could just think about it right now, free of everything else, past and future, totally different solutions would come up. So when you are able to, when you know how to turn the dials and you're able to actually change the way you feel, reality shifts. So I'm going to toss it over to Bill. Bill, why does reality shift when
You
your
know-
body changes the way you feel?
Yeah, this is a super interesting question. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So we humans are literally a battery. There's an electrical current flowing in our body. You know, eyes, brain, spinal cord are a neurological system. And by extension, all those other nerves in the body are your neurological system. The technical definition of a neurological system is the transfer, the system that allows a transfer of an electrical charge. We're constantly doing that. Even the light that comes into our eyes gets converted to an electrical charge. And we make decisions upon that. And those are also out there being converted to electrical charges, helping us to move. And it also is a feeling. The feelings that you have, let's say it is, for example, this kind of seems like a reoccurring theme on the call today. There's chats about finances. So with this finances, we have certain feelings, you know, about that. Now, for some of us that are on the call, you may have been experiencing lower back pain, or even maybe it's not pain, but you feeling like, I guess I've been sitting in my chair too much, but my lower back is tense, or I have sciatica, you know, something like that. Now, one of the things is that electrical system is integrated with your energetic body, meaning the electrical and the energetic are integrated, and it has a particular language that it speaks. So this causes a literal contraction. And when we contract, what happens is, like a hose, if you looked at a hose that, you know, water's coming through, there's a flow of the electrical charges and there's a flow of energy. If you kink the hose, you're going to get less water coming out. You're basically have repressed all of the energy. Now, this energy is also information. When we are in fear, our brain literally neurologically shuts down, and it conserves energy going into its fight or flight mode. And with that, you have limited ability to come up with new possibilities. When we do this, we set off an actual electrical charge. We're constantly having this electrical charge that's around us. Now, this is not woo-woo. This, they used to think it was woo-woo, but now there's something called magnetoencephalography. Everybody's probably familiar with an EEG, where you put on the cap and they measure your brain waves. Well, as it turns out, in many universities around the globe, you can now get an MEG, magnetoencephalography. Now, what this does is there is a sensor outside of your head, here in time and space. There's nothing attached to your head. These sensors are called squids. I don't know why they chose squid, but you know, a squid. So you got these squids out here, and these things actually pick up the electrical charge in the field around you. If I have a thought of fear, bing, 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 it's like, tss, 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 tss. And it is so precise, so precise, right here in the field is like, oh, yeah, it's right here. We can actually map this to the particular part of your brain. And also the state, theta, alpha, beta, plus the location that the thing is coming from. It's amazing technology. So your thoughts are not local. They're not local. They can be shut down. Literally, my perspective shuts down. And I'm also actually creating an electrical charge in my field. Now, the interesting thing is, you guys are going to love this. Stay to the end of this because you're going to learn some new stuff. That electrical charge is so expletive thick that you could feel it with your hand. You don't need to go in for several $1,000s of instruments to start mapping this. Liz is going to walk you through actually feeling it. You don't need any special skills, but you will feel the weight of your negative feeling. So to illustrate very specifically what Liz was asking, how the heck does all this operate? Well, that electrical charge, that big blob of negativity that's sitting out there so thick that you could feel it with your hand. When that dissipates, that changes your reality. Now, what I mean by that is you got a blob, I got a blob. The blobs interact. Have you ever noticed when you went in the grocery store and you were like, I'm feeling a little bit spicy today, something happened? Not so much my wife or my husband, or I know that's a crazy concept, like somebody could be upset about that. But let's just say hypothetically, something like that was to happen. Well, you go out and you're going to meet somebody else with a blob. And it's beyond that. It's beyond that. I'm going to tell a little story about the very first Cognomovement session ever. Some of you have heard this, but the very, very first Cognomovement session was an experiment. And this guy that I had known since I was only, 18 or something, I agreed to give him a trip to the airport if he would experiment with this thing. And so the very first Cognomovement session, I said, I don't know what your problem is, but I want you to focus on your worst problem. And we did the session and his belly button got hot and he was sweating. And then he felt like he was going to have a heart attack a few minutes later. And then he started choking a few minutes later and said that his heart was fine, but he couldn't get a breath. And then he felt this pain in his head and whoosh, it was gone. But it wasn't until months later, it was several months later that him and his wife came over to the house and they had, the wife was saying, we found these 2 houses, 2 or 3 houses, I don't know how many houses, but with a minimal amount down, it would positive cash flow day one. Positive cash flow to the point of like way more than the rent. Still being from California, that's mind blowing for me, but way more money coming in so we could actually pay it off. It was crazy, but they bought the houses. They were utilizing the excess money that was coming in to pay down those rental properties, which are already rented. And then not only that, but they had turned part of their property in San Diego into a rental. So all of this happened after the session. The wife was like, I don't know what the hell happened with that session you did, whatever that was, but this all became available after the fact. So I asked him, like, hey man, what was that about? And he said that he's coming up on retirement age. And now, and he was like, I could only figure out my entire retirement plan was buy a trailer, move to the desert, and just get, like almost, squatter-esque, tumbleweeds and cactus and, not a great life, as far as opportunity. So bottom line is the point. And I want to tell that story because it was the field and it was his brain, literally the energy and the information going to a new place where new possibilities emerge. Today, there's so many years have gone by since that. He retired, and get this, I got more money than I can spend every month. More money than I can spend every month. So this is very much a reality. And it just goes to say exactly what Liz was saying. It wasn't in real time. There was a thought process of lack from way back when. There was a point in time where he was homeless and living under a bridge, and literally, and that stuck with him, that pain of that. And but here today, whole different story. So Liz, back to you.
Well, what I want to add to that is one more piece of the why and how reality seems to change. And you guys may think it's hyperbole that reality changes, but like with Bill's story, life actually changes instantly. We have had so many people at our Cogno Conscious event, especially because it's so intense and we're clearing for 5 days, but lots of people who've done it on their own, that immediately after the session, they get a call from that person that they have had so many problems with, and they're apologizing, and that relationship is brand new. I mean, it changes the field. That's 100% true. And these things that look like miracles happen, but there's a real reason why we feel, why the world looks different to us. And that's because, based on everything Bill just said, the way that we take in information is completely different. You're looking at something through, a space about this big, based on the lowest common denominator, the lowest emotional pattern that you have in your body. That's what you see through, based on that subject. Immediately when it's gone, the whole world is open. And it's actually physically open. So often we can't even see beyond here, and we don't know it. That's why Cognomovement is so great at this, because it's a physical opening, but it's also a consciousness opening, because now you're aware of what the world really looks like. Guess when? Now. Your system only lets you see the world through that emotional lens, and also through the time frame in which the problem started. So I tell a story in our book, Suffering is Optional, that there was a person whose life was ruined over a popsicle when she was 4. She didn't get a popsicle, and so she thought her mom didn't love her, right? So her life, she then saw relationships through the lens of 4 as it pertained to her nervous system. Now her mind knew she was a grown-up, and she thought she knew what was going on now, but it was all colored, it was all tainted. So the minute that is gone, you literally see the world like a brand new place. People will say, were the colors always this clear? Right? And all of a sudden they realize their system comes up to date. It's just like having an iPhone update. Your system comes up to date, and now you see things completely differently. And so it is absolutely as though your reality changed, and the way you react is completely different. You are a different human. That's why we, Cogno Conscious is coming up in September 9th through 13th. And, that's why we keep talking about it, because when you can clear things, 17 levels, and I'll show you them after the session, 17 levels over 5 days. Every time you shift a level, so we start at shame, and I think the next one might be guilt, but every time you shift a level, you're a different human. Actually, after every Cognomovement session, you're wired differently, and you're rewiring how you see reality with everyone. You're brought up to date and up to date and up to date, and clearer and bigger and bigger. So if you're clearing shame and everything that's in there, there's a lot of stuff in there that we don't even realize that's in there. And now your lens is without shame. Whoa, everything looks different. Now, then you move up to guilt and you share clear everything about guilt. And there's a lot of shame and guilt that you've already cleared. Then, whoa, everything looks different again. Add that times 17 in 5 days. Physiologically, you're a different human, and how the world looks to you and how it acts towards you is completely different. And the experience is a massive reality shift. It's really the most glorious thing. And it turns clearing out your problems, your traumas, your issues, your pain, your physical issues, your health issues. It actually turns it into fun. It's hard work, don't get me wrong, but it's fun because you're like, oh, I remember Liz just told me where that is and when it is. It's not now. So this is one of those things I can clear out of my body and change the reality. So type in the chat if it's starting to add up to you, or if it sounds like we're speaking Russian. See if it's making sense to you. Put it in the chat. As we do that, as we talk about that, let's set up for our session today, because many of you have been here with us and you know what we're saying is true because you've experienced it. In fact, many of you who are here, I saw you on that testimonial tape. Neville in South Africa is on it, but he wasn't here when his face was on the screen. So many of you have experienced this, but for those of you who haven't, this experience will be new and it'll show you how things can look very, very different in a short time. So grab your Cogno ball if you have one. And if you don't, that's okay too. You can grab the little one as well. Everything's falling here for me, this one as well. If you don't have one, that's okay. You can follow along and use another object or a pen that works just as well, or even a finger. So the setup for today, because we're talking about Cogno Conscious and clearing on the levels, 17 levels of issues, we're going to start with one that fits into the level of shame, but it's shame light. And what it is the most embarrassing thing that ever happened in your life. Now, I know as I just said it, you had a sensation. Pay attention. Where did your body just react? What is the most embarrassing thing that ever happened? Many of you will go back to childhood and some weird thing that happened at school. I know, God, that's mine. It started at 5 years old. And that 5-year-old thing that happened to me, it really started to shape me around this issue. So for you, I want you to take your pen and write it down. And just pick one, please. It doesn't have to be the worst one, but it could be one that just popped in your mind right now. The most embarrassing thing that happened to you in your life. It could be, that time you wore the weird thing to school, or wet your pants at school, or threw up at school. Maybe those are all just mine and very autobiographical. There's a lot of school things that happened. And as you write it, I want you to notice what is happening in your body. Just write 2 or 3 words. Kind of let it build. For the first time in your life around the subject, please don't push it away and let your body tell the truth about that moment as you replay it, relive it, and feel it. We're going to shift back to Bill for just a second because he's going to reach into your field and we're going to play with it there to start right before we move into the Cogno session. But let yourself go there in your mind. Let yourself go there, most importantly, in your body. Let it build a little bit. And I'm going to have you take a big, deep breath in. And I want you to drop down into that feeling, if you will. And one more big, deep breath in. And literally drop down into it like you're in the middle of that moment. Everybody's like, Liz, this is so mean. Be in it. Just for now, be in it. Leah, will you flip the screen? Bill's going to take everybody into feeling it in their field before we start the actual session. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So as you're here feeling it, close your eyes and look downward with your eyeballs. As uncomfortable as it is, be in that time and place of that embarrassment, and simply notice that feeling in your body. As Liz says, not avoiding it, but actually just allowing yourself to be there. As uncomfortable as this is, this will have very large ramifications in your life if you allow this to be processed. But in order for that to happen, we need to feel. So allowing the feeling. And as your eyes are closed and you're looking downwards, ask yourself this question. This embarrassment, if it was in the field around me, like if I took both arms and I spread them out to the side, and if I was this distance from me, my field that's around me, where would be the place that this would reside? It could be behind you, above you, in the front, the back, the sides, but you instantly will know or have an inkling. Well, I don't really know. I'm not a feeler. I don't know about that. Sounds kind of woo-woo. Well, if it just happened to be anywhere, it would be probably about here. Open your eyes, flip your hand over like so that it's facing the ceiling, and go right to the place where you think it is. Come up underneath it. Come up underneath it like you're trying to cup it. If you think it might be behind you, you get up and you literally tell your energy to remain fixed, and you flip around so you're facing the opposite way. And then you open your hand and come up underneath it, and feel. As you come up underneath it, can you feel the weight of it? Go around the side of it, the left side, the right side, and feel, where does this start and where does it end? Does it almost feel like it has some physical weight to it? You may even feel an electrical charge. You may feel heat. You may feel like air jello. As you push into this, to the left, to the right, and underneath. Just pushing up. The tingling sometimes in the hands. For some of you, this may actually be like what I would call micro electric shocks. Now, if you put your hand right in it, you can feel the thickness. Notice where you feel it in your body. Sometimes you can really even feel it more when you connect with it with your hand and that place in your body. Allow this feeling. Beautiful. And now you can remove your hand from it, and Liz is going to take you through the exercise. Remember how thick that was, how big that was, what it felt like, because we'll get back to it at the end. Liz?
Someone asked if you don't feel anything at all. So if you're not feeling anything in your body, that blank sensation, that's the sensation. For some people, they say, I don't feel anything, I feel numb. Numb is a sensation. Let the void, the emptiness be there. If you don't feel anything in the field, not everyone has that perception, proprioception at first. But if you kind of think about, talking to a friend, like a friend over coffee, and you were going to explain your big problem, if you're like me and talk with your hands, like, Karen, it really, I'm just having this trouble with my husband. Wherever you would gesture, that's exactly where it is. So you can look for it in that spot. Some people just have a sense, they don't feel it with their hands, but they actually have a sense of where the mass of that thing is. All right.
Someone asked about electrical tingling. Yes, that is
Yeah.
that is definitely the way it is. And the beautiful thing is to pull away from it and then push into it. And you'll actually see the tingle go away, and then your tingle will come.
So everybody, what this is really simple. Like Bill said, there's measurements. All kinds of science has measured our emotions and our thoughts in the field. And really what it is, keep in mind, what are our thoughts? They are electromagnetic, hormonal, and chemical, right? We smell pheromones in the field. We smell other people's fear. You ever smelled that one, right? But we also feel each other, because an electrical impulse that goes from the brain to the body, from the brain to the body. What did Nikola Tesla teach us? It creates a field. And that field is actually the mass that you're experiencing. It's not pretend, it's actually a real thing. And that thing, other people run into it. If shame's your big thing, when they meet you, they're going to give you another reason to feel ashamed, and you're going to find another reason to feel ashamed. That's how we draw things to us. This law of attraction idea, it's wrong, because you're not attracting anything. What you're doing is projecting it, and everybody just matches it. That's all. The level that you are, you're going to find a match. That's how your life turns out the way it does, is things just find the match to this powerful signal that's being sent from your body. Okay, so let's bring it back to embarrassment. That horrifyingly embarrassing thing that you said or did or didn't do. Feel into it now. You felt it into your field. We're going to grab your ball. We're going to stay seated for this one. And what we're going to do is we're going to just look at 4 opinions to begin with of your nervous system around this topic. You ready? So let your eyes drop to your body. Please, everyone, keep your eyes open for this. We don't really want you going internal, we want you having the full experience. So keep your eyes open and let your eyes drop like you're going to look through your own shirt or down your own shirt. And just breathe deeply into that thing, that embarrassing moment. Let yourself drop down in again. Good. And let yourself feel it. Now we're going to take your ball or the pen or whatever you have, and you're going to keep both hands on whatever it is. And you're just going to rock it in a U shape. Breathe. If your feet are crossed, uncross them. And move slow, about like this. And I want you to feel that embarrassing moment and let it play out. If your mind has joined in, let it play out. You did the thing. The thing happened and people thought, oh. Feel into it. That moment, and notice how many times your mind has gone back to it at the most random time. Driving in the car, sitting having dinner, watching a movie, and all of a sudden, your body starts to play out that most embarrassing moment as though it could take it back somehow. Breathe into it. Notice how often that thing does pop up in your consciousness, even though it was like a moment, a fraction of a moment of time. Breathe into it. Notice how attached your body is to that time. And that sense of wanting to reach for it, back to that moment, and relive it as though there's something you could do about it, but you just can't, and that intensifies it. Breathe. Drop down into it again. Don't push it away. Let your body tell the truth about this. This is such a big key to transformation. We push it away, stuff it down, and pretend we don't feel about it. We do anyway, and it gets bigger. Let it get bigger. Breathe. Move a little faster now. This is the kinesthetic part of your body, the feeling part. When our eyes are in the down position, we connect with the physical. Let it be there. You're doing great. Breathe.
Keep two hands on the ball. It helps the information go across the corpus callosum.
Or the pen. Good. The corpus callosum, if you don't know, is an organ inside the brain that transfers information from one hemisphere to the other. Breathe. Let it be there. All right. Drop your ball and let your head hang for a moment. And just feel. As you witnessed this thing through your body, what did you notice about it? What's the same and what's different about the story? Just notice the opinion of your body around this thing. And for some of you, you're like, oh my God, I think it was worse than I thought. And for others, you're like, oh, wait, I don't know. Maybe it wasn't about me. Just feel, let it be exactly what it is. If it got bigger, fantastic. If it diminished a little and you're having a hard time finding it, fantastic. If it moved in your body, fantastic. All right, ready? You're going to pick up the ball and we're going to move to the right side of the body. So we're going to talk to the left hemisphere, the left side of the body, about this moment in time, this embarrassment, this thing that was so horrifying in the moment. Even if it was the tiniest thing, for you, it was horrifying. So for this, you're going to keep your head straight and level. And you're going to move the item that you're working with to your right side. And you're going to move your eyes, not your head. This is a hard part because the head's going to want to whip over. But just let your eyes move. And you're going to go from about your shoulder or just your armpit level, just about a foot away from the body, straight up like this and down. And you're going to really let your eyes follow. Now your eyes are probably not going to want to follow. Drop down to about your hip and move up. And that embarrassing moment. Oh, feel it. And breathe. Let it expand and let the left hemisphere talk it through. Breathe and just feel that moment in time, that embarrassment. Really let your eyes follow. Now you may notice that the eyes do not want to look there. And that may be that this is the part of your brain that really holds the biggest opinion. Or you might find places that are sore. If you do, move slower through those spots. Make your eyes really stretch. We're opening up not only the wound of this embarrassment, but we're opening up your body's ability to see further. Breathe. Have any of you dreamt about that most embarrassing time? Does it leak through into your dreams? Breathe into it. Push the ball up higher now. Like extend your arm all the way up. Breathe and let it drop down. And notice if the feeling is a little bit different on this side. More intense maybe, or less intense. Breathe. Breath gets oxygen to that brain and all the cells in the body and allows a little more electricity in the system. We need that voltage to create change. One more time. Good. Drop the ball, drop your head, and just let that move through your body and just notice what information did you get this time? Did you see different people there? Did you notice something about the quality of the moment in time change? Did you notice that who it was about shifted a little? Did it get bigger? All of that is fantastic. Good. So when you're in the down position, you're going to let your eyes be down. When you're on either side, you're going to let your eyes follow the ball. Wherever the ball or object is, that's what you follow. Good. All right. Take inventory, and we're going to move to the left side of the body, and we're going to talk to the right side of the brain. Sarah says she feels a body buzz. Great. Stay with it. Ready? Start with the ball about your armpit. We're going to start here and let your eyes slide to it. Remember, head straight and level as best you can, and let your eyes stretch. This is about going to a part of your brain that you don't use very often. So let your eyes stretch. Ready? Breathe in. Moving the ball up just above the head and dropping it down to about your hip. And breathe. And bring yourself back to that time, that moment in time that was just so embarrassing. And for some of you, this right side, the left side in the right hemisphere of the brain, you might want to giggle, which is normal. It might feel lighter or it might feel heavier. Bigger emotion might come. Breathe. And bring it back if you're starting to have a hard time holding on to it. That moment in time, it was so embarrassing. And people laughed, or at least you thought they did. Move all the way up over the head, way up high. Breathe. Bring it back down. Let your eyes stretch, reset, keep your chin straight and level, and breathe. Good. Let the eyes stretch. Notice if it's easier on this side or if it's harder. And remember, if there's any spot that's sore, just move much slower through that area. Breathe and feel. Feel into this embarrassment. That moment in time, it was so embarrassing, so humiliating. And while you're here, begin to notice if this moment in time shaped you in some way. Breathe. Be really aware of the time frame in which it started and maybe what else changed in your life around then. Just feel into it. Breathe. Dropping all the way down to the hip and all the way up over the head. Moving slow, letting the eyes stretch. The opinion of the right hemisphere, the right side of the body. Breathe. For some of you, your body may have just really relaxed. That's good. For the rest of you, see if you can actively relax down into the sensation of embarrassment. Breathe in. And let your body actively relax, mean let the tension go. Good. Really good. Blink, blink, blink. Really squeeze your eyes shut. You might put your hands over your eyes. Let them rest. I know this is an eye workout, especially if you're not used to this. You may be noticing that you don't use this part of your vision. And if you don't, you're actually not using that part of your brain either. So this exercise not only helps clear out a sensation, a moment in time, but it literally expands your brain and your vision. So just breathe. Notice what's different about this story in the moment, in the present. What's different? What did you see? Who did you see? What do you know about that time frame? And what are you starting to know now that you didn't know before? Good. All right, you ready? With the ball, both hands are on the pen, whatever you have. I'm going to have you bring it straight up your body very, very slowly. The name of the game here is always keeping your eye on the object. Your eyes are going to move you to different parts of your brain because that's what they do. They find the files in your brain. Good. Let your chin drop. So you're going to want to pull your head up, but let your chin drop and let your eyes move up. And bring back to mind and body that embarrassing thing. That time. Oh my goodness. Good. With both hands on the ball, I'm going to ask you to just move it a little bit left and a little bit right. And you're pretty close to the top of your head. Maybe 5 or 6 inches. And you can hear me burping along with you. That is the system literally off-gassing the hormones and chemicals that go with this pattern. Breathe. Keep your chin dropped as best you can and let your eyes stretch. We are now in the realm of ideas and inspiration in your brain. Feel into that embarrassing moment of time. And now, if you can, or if you're willing, allow the question to just move around your body. What else is possible about this embarrassing moment? Breathe. Big deep breaths, belly breaths. Creating energy for the cells. Literally, electricity happens when the breath comes in. That's what the lungs convert it into. Breathe. What else is possible now about this moment in time? We're moving to the left hemisphere and the right, in the realm of ideas and inspiration, the part of your brain that does that thing. Breathe. Now make your path a little wider. Keep your chin down, eyes up, breathing. Good. What else might be possible about this moment in time, this embarrassing thing? Good. It's just a question for a friend. Let your nervous system answer, not your mind. Breathe. Beautiful. Now put your object or your ball in one hand and then bring it around your face. If you look at the screen for just a second, you can see how close I am to my face. We're going to bring it in a big oval around the face. And these are some more files. That embarrassing moment in time. Good. Now move back the opposite direction. Beautiful. Breathe. If there's a place that's extra sore in your eyeballs, let's move a little slower through that area. Good. Now drop the ball down to your lap. We're in the home stretch. Okay. Feel in. We've talked to the kinesthetic body, the left side, the right side. We've talked to the ideas and inspiration, and just notice how that story feels in your body now. What is the story about now, that time you were so embarrassed? Just notice what's different, what's the same, what's the general feeling. All right, last thing we're going to do is we're going to move through the whole system. Ready? So start to move left and right about your belly button. Keep both hands on the ball. We need to cross the center line of the body. Move up to about the heart now and feel into that moment in time. You can engage your brain now and just let it see the moment. Moving up to the throat now. Good. Moving out of the kinesthetic and into neutrality. The logical mind, the eyes and ears. What have you seen? What do you know? What have you heard? And the neutral switch right here. Breathing, moving up to the eyebrows now. Shifting into ideas and inspiration once again. Breathe, breathing. Just 30 more seconds here. What else is possible? Good. Go ahead and bring that down and let your head rest in your eyes rest for a minute. Breathe, blink, blink, blink. Close your eyes tight and open, close and open. Maybe put your hands over for just a sec. I know that was a real workout for the eyeballs, for the whole system, really. It's a whole workout for the whole system to take a look at a singular moment in time. Was that pretty fascinating for a lot of you? Even you, I can see some of my practitioners. I can see my beautiful Miriam on the screen. You know, if you've never gone over the most embarrassing thing in your life, it can be quite a journey. So if you'll type in the chat, just one thing that changed for you during the session, so we can get an idea of what's different. So in Cognomovement, we never look for better or worse necessarily. What we're looking for is what's changed. What's changed? in the body. It's changed in the mind. Some people say it's lighter. Yeah, that's good. While you're typing that, Leah, if you'll bring up the Hawkins scale for me.
One of the things that may have changed is in the field. Take your hand, reach out and feel it. Feel the field where you did. Remember that sparks or the heaviness in the field? See if it's the same. Is it the same?
Yeah.
Is it gone?
So effortless. People are saying it feels like detachment from the moment. Yeah. The moment went on like a merry-go-round, like a merry-go-round. It's a sorry.
Somebody said that shame changed to anger, which
Yeah.
is actually amazing because that is literally 130 points higher in consciousness.
Yeah. There's so much more energy in anger. It goes from no movement to lots of movement. And look who you're angry about in that moment. Look who it changed. Feels so much tinier, not such a big deal. Okay.
Many of them had said that the ball of shame is gone. It's gone out of the field, lighter and more neutral. It was someone else's shame, but you took it on as your own. So there's so many of these. That's awesome.
So Vicky says she actually felt the attacker's shame instead. Really, really great. Because now you see a whole nother perspective of what someone else felt in the moment. That is amazing. That is so good. And so just with that alone, can you see how this shifts reality? In one moment, you're the victim. And in the next moment, you're having compassion for the people who, did the thing that embarrassed you so much. You realize what their driver was, and then maybe it's not about you. That is a reality shift. And for those of you who have changed this dramatically for just this tiny moment, you will see the ripples of it throughout your life. How you're not embarrassed about other things. And you will find that other embarrassing moments quickly turn into smoke, into nothing, because the core driver of it is gone. I wish I had time to read all these out loud. They're amazing, amazing, amazing changes. Imagine for yourself, if you've never done this before, if we just did a 10-minute session, I think, if you could change the way you literally feel and it changes the way you think about this one thing, imagine if you did this for 6 hours a day for 5 days. Does anyone think their reality might be different? Well, we know it is because Bill and I, Leah, our practitioners who are there, we literally just change everything in our lives, even though we're just the facilitators. Everything changes for us too, due to the energy of the group doing it all together. What happens is that as a group, the field actually interacts with each other. And as one person releases, it releases for everyone else as well. We always say that when one human is willing to do this work, you do the work for about 1,000 other people, and you will impact and change about 1,000 other people. So I want to just quickly have you see this chart here. This is what we do at Cogno Conscious. And we know Cogno Conscious isn't for everyone because it is a really big step. It's really for those people who are ready to change a big chunk at once. And not everyone is. Some people need to just start with, our essentials program and one session at a time. And that is perfectly okay. But there are some of you who are on a path who know for sure you have something to do on the planet that you can't do because there's this physical feels like a wall that is blocking you. That's who this is for. So look here at shame. This is where we start. And this is where you were today. Humiliation, when you're embarrassed, especially as a kid, your misery, you despise, everyone. I mean, this is the view of God, but it's like, why would you let this happen to me? I'm just a kid, right? And the process is elimination. Like you really do want to eliminate anything around that from your life. So what we do at Cogno Conscious is we hit this one and first, and in this one, you clear out all of the sensations, all of the past things that add up to your current shame. And then we move up to guilt. And in guilt, there's all kinds of shame, but it's already gone by the time you're here. And you're going to address the people that you blame, how you blame yourself. You're going to notice how you've seen things as evil, right? Okay, and then we're going to move through apathy and into grief. But by the time you hit grief, all of these things, apathy, guilt, and shame, are no longer a part of grief. And now it's easier. And then fear and desire and anger. And by the time you hit anger, all of these things below are now cleared. And anger is completely different. Your reality around anger changes. And then we're going to move up into pride and courage, which you would think, why would I want to clear courage? But there's stuff in there. What's in there? All the things below. When we get to neutrality, this is the gateway. I believe this is the gateway to everything above. When you can be at neutral on the worst thing that ever happened in your life, reality shifts so dramatically, it's like having whiplash in an amazing way. Then you move into willingness, acceptance, and reason. And can you accept the worst things that happen in your life? Yeah, because all these things below it are now, they're vanished, they're gone. You just do not feel that way or see things that way. And it's shocking because people come with the most horrific life experience that is changed radically. And guess what? They're able to forgive, where the idea of it before, like, this is the F word. Forgiveness is the F word for someone who's down here in shame or guilt or grief or fear. And then we move up into these higher things. Now, you guys know what these are: reason and love and joy and peace. But what are they? They're actually a sensation in the body that releases your mind to have the experience. So you guys, all of these are available to us at any moment of any day. But when we're down here in shame or guilt or apathy or grief, we can't feel them. Our body will not allow it because it feels like we're unsafe. It's got to focus on the bad stuff to keep us safe. So it keeps these hidden, even though they've been here all the time. And that is the biggest shift in reality. You start to acknowledge that there is love in your life, that actually there's peace. And I like to say at enlightenment, we all get to feel it. Most of us don't stay there, but nobody can F with you. I know that's not the real meaning of ineffable, but I like to say it is, because nobody can F with you, because you just see the world for what it really is. And things seem really okay. And the ideas that come in around it, the way you live your life, is so different. So different. So that's what we do at Cogno Conscious. And I want to invite each of you to come. And Leah's going to actually share how with you. So, but before we do that, I know we're running a tiny bit late. Is it okay if we stay 5 more minutes, you guys? Give me a thumbs up if we're okay. Stay 5 more minutes. Sue Ann said, and Bill, jump in if you want to read these, that she felt so sad, but it changed quickly because of her Cogno experience. And with the introduction of this practice, many thanks, Liz, Bill, and Leah. Oh, that is so beautiful. So let's see. They're movingly, so I can't read them. Yeah.
All right. Well, we better. There's a couple people that need to go, so let's let Leah.
Let's do that. And stop sharing my screen. Okay. So I just want to point out before we get started, actually we're running a little bit late. So the first thing I want to tell you is that if you are at all interested in coming to this event, I want you to go to cognomovement.com/call and book a discovery call with me. There are very, very limited spots. So I want to get that, out there. Do it right now if you want to come to this event and learn more information about it. But I want to point out, so some of the people, like I said, one person said that they went from shame to anger. That's a huge jump in consciousness in this very short, 15-20 minute session that we did. So imagine like Liz said and Bill said, what it would be like if you cleared lifetimes of that in just 5 days. Like we're talking about the consciousness of the masters here in just 5 days. So another person said, Alice said, embarrassment changed to fear of this ever happening again. On the surface, that might sound like it's not very good, but from the Hawkins scale, we know that embarrassment and shame is still, I don't do math very well, 80 points less than fear. So even though it changed to fear of this ever happening again, it was just a mini session, just a piece of what Cognomovement can do. And you still jumped 80 points in consciousness. So we can't stress enough how powerful this is. It's why we call it the most transformational event of the year, and why we say it's aggressive transformation.
It is aggressive.
It really is. It's aggressive transformation, but the end is so amazing. And also, so I just want to remind you, I didn't get to read everything that everybody said because there were so many comments, which is amazing. Thank you all for being here. I am going to put that link in the comments, just a reminder. Go to cognomovement.com/call and then just book whichever one is available right now, because those are going to go really fast. Like I said, it's very limited. And they're rare. I don't do discovery calls very often anymore because I have the phone ringing off the hook all the time. So another thing I wanted to talk to you guys about is at the very beginning, people said, I want to change my thinking, connect, and be more able to understand more. Financial was a big one. Relationships were a big one for people that they would like to change in their life. No more negative vibes. That's something that we have experienced in Cogno Conscious right away. During one of the days, we had some people who were very unlikely to be super joyful and playing a game. You know, they're very serious, very business-like people. And they were playing a game of volleyball in the back of the room when we got to joy. So there were no negative vibes there. Having my business up and successful, we have had people who couldn't sell their house for 10 years or couldn't sell their business for years literally get offers in the middle of Cogno Conscious because they were actively changing their reality. Live a debt-free life, manifest a husband. I did that. So all of these things, imagine if these are the biggest problems in your life, imagine what it would be like if it were gone, if those things were gone in 5 days. Something that would normally take 20 years is going to take 5 days. So the event is Cogno Conscious. Once again, it is in San Diego, and it's the 9th through the 13th of September. So it's coming up really fast. If you want information for this event, please email me or book a discovery call. I will talk to you right now, as long as nobody has booked that spot. Where, like I said, it's really limited spots. So I really want you guys to be able to get that information as soon as possible. Like I said, my phone is always ringing off the hook. We're always in business meetings. So it's really hard to get a hold of us in person on the phone. So this is a really good, way to learn about it. So again, I'm going to put it in the chat, just so that you guys have that link, cognomovement.com/call. And if you have any other questions, you don't have time to book a call, email me at info@cognomovement.com. But I really urge you to get on the call and ask your questions. We have lots of information about this event, and it's such an amazing event. We just can't say it enough. So also, if you book a discovery call with me, I do have something special that I will give you if you decide you want to come to Cogno Conscious, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. You have to book a call with me. So we're going to start logging off here. If you have any more of your last minute questions, if you need that link, please go in the chat. Location, San Diego, Little Italy, San Diego. It's going to be really fun and there's amazing food there. There are tons of hotels and VRBOs and Airbnbs there. So it's going to be amazing. September the 9th through the 13th. And I'm just reading some of your comments, just making sure that I have everything covered. And
Leah, I just want to say too that we would love to hear more about what happened during your session as well. So over the week, so reach out to us for that too. We want to hear what happened, what changed, because from this one moment, it's not done right now. It will expand for you over the next days, weeks, and months. This tiny little session rewires the way your nervous system works and starts to change everything. Again, imagine if you're rewiring over 5 days. It's almost not explainable, the kind of changes that happen during those 5 days.
okay, it looks like we are all good. It looks like I'm already getting some calls booked. So again, make sure you click that link where people are already booking calls. I want to make sure that everybody gets the information they need and everybody gets all the special things that we have. So click on that link, book a call, and before Bill and Liz decide they're going to give you more things, we're going to end this call right now, and I will talk to you guys soon.
Hey, everybody, just wish Bill McKenna a wonderful interview at Gaia. He'll be in there tomorrow, so everybody please be there with him in spirit. And let's make it the most amazing conversation about miracles that he's ever had.
All right, guys, I'll talk to you later.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Good night.
Good night.